that if you have a child with somebody and y'all break up, right? Y'all break up on good terms, but y'all real cool. Y'all better as friends. That's possible. Y'all could be better as friends than a couple. And you start dating somebody else. Do that person have some say about how you deal with your baby mother?
No,
Why?
because whatever happens between you and the baby mother is between you and the baby mother. It shouldn't have anything to do with her at all, unless she is married to you. Then she would have a little say so. But if y'all, I'm talking about the man and the woman is in good terms, she should have nothing to do with that. But again, that could be interpreted different because if the girlfriend is doing everything in the world to provide for the the child, I mean, that could be the only thing I can say that she will have some say so because if she's also providing for him, I mean, but if she's not doing anything for the child, she should have no say so in that particular situation.
What do you think, Notes?
What?
Come
What
on,
you
bro.
think?
Pay attention. Keep up, my nigga.
I was not paying attention.
Come on, my nigga. Like seriously.
If do you think if you're in a relationship with somebody and you have custody of your children, do you think that your girlfriend should have any interaction with you and your baby or your the child's mother
Yeah, child
relationship?
mother.
Nope. I will try my best to keep them as separate as possible. I do not need them to interact whatsoever.
At
What I,
some point, they gotta interact with you.
of course, at
Yeah,
some
they're gonna
point,
have to, yeah.
of
You can
course,
you can probably limit it,
well,
but
not
I wouldn't.
necessarily because unless the relationship is getting to the point where I'm talking about maybe you're gonna be my fiance or something like that, you really don't have to meet her at all. I can keep her, I can keep y'all separate as much as possible. I can. I can try my best. But you're right. Eventually sometime it's gonna happen. But no,
It, it
I
has to
don't
happen. That's
I don't
literally her
I don't
child.
want my baby mama and my girlfriend to be interact with each other at all whatsoever.
So
But
let me ask
Now,
you a question, Notes.
that's also a responsibility on the
Your
other
part.
person too. Yeah, on your no, the other person's part because they're coming into the relationship knowing they got a baby mom.
And that's why it's gonna be explained to that you guys would not interact. You'll probably have a conversation in regards to what's going on in the household or a situation to where if it's out of my control, out of my hands, and I need you to step up to do something, then maybe
I would
yes.
be
Otherwise, no, there will be no interaction with them.
I'd be fine with them interacting because at some point, like just to keep the peace, nigga. Like I don't need you trying to fight her. I don't need her trying to fight
You
you.
can keep the
If
peace
we
long
if
as there's
we if the girlfriend come in after we already established this whole co-parent situation because we ain't together, we doing our thing. I don't need nothing fucking that up because that's my peace of mind.
okay. My thought process is if I have a co-parent situation with my baby mama to the point where it's fine and everything's working, and you come in and you try to intervene with that, I'm cutting you off. You're done. I don't need you to interrupt what I have going. My
You're
life is
not necessarily intervening, nigga. Just
with
not
that.
necessarily that she trying to stop anything, but you
That's
did choose
I
to
mean
date this girl though. So
that's why that's the point. Now that it's becoming an issue, stop, cut that off. I'm just gonna maintain my relationship with my BM and this co-parenting situation because this is priority. This is where I'm at pieces with, and this is
shit,
more important than me and
might as
you
well
relationship.
might as well get you a couple dogs then. Anybody you choose to
So
date,
here's
there's
my
obviously
ask you,
gonna be
Notes.
some type of problems.
Here's
I
my ask you,
mean,
Notes.
it all depends on what the problem is. If it's something I can control and I can maintain, yes. If there's gonna be some fighting and some arguing constantly over and over again, yes, I'm gonna cut it short. But if
Of
it
course, because the girl obviously if she coming into the situation knowing that you got kids, she probably gonna try to be a mother. It's gonna be their step. At that point they
and
gonna
all
call them something.
okay, but that's
Here's a
fine. You can come in and try to be that, but you also have to know how to remain cordial in that situation. You also have to know there are boundaries that are going to be set for your interaction with my child and your interaction with my baby mama. If you overstep those boundaries, then we have a problem. If I can't nip it in the bud, and get you to understand that this is how far you go, and you can continue try to exceed these boundaries. No, because if me and you don't work out, I still have to deal with this over here. So I want this to be as happy as possible. So you can go.
Here's a question. Here's a question to your notes. To everybody. Do you think it's the fact that we come in here thinking that it's going to be something negative?
No.
That's why it goes to that. Because my question is this, like CJ just said, if I'm dealing with somebody, full transparency, me, I came in of somebody that had kids. They had kids. They have a person. They had somebody beyond me who had these kids with them. Okay, I'm here 99% of the time. They've been with me for a good portion of it. They have very limited interaction. Not say limited, but they had their scheduled dates, but it was very limited. But Monday through Friday, schoolwork, homework, class trips, shoes, clothes. I'm interacting with the kids.
It's a good thing you brought it up, Joe. I wanted to ask you something, but finish your statement though.
So if there is an issue that you may have with me as being the other creator of these children, and I have an issue, guess what? I'm gonna tell you. I will listen to it with all due respect, but I'm gonna tell you that if I'm out here putting this work in the field, and all you doing is giving me some critique from the sidelines, and I'm just like, all right, so why don't you handle it? And your response is, well, I mean, I'm just saying,
you gotta go.
Then what are we talking about? Because at this point, all you were was just a sperm donor. And that's not a knock to you. That's not a knock to you. You created life. But you are the father, you're a sperm donor.
Okay.
Congratulations.
So let me ask you this, right? When you first got with your significant other, and like you said, you've been with the kids 99% of the time. When they act foolish, when they was disobedient, when they got in trouble,
I put foot to the ass.
So she allowed you to do that.
Let me say this, and let me not be, because I feel like it's going to go left. So let me try to be very politically correct. Let me try to be very civil. You don't always got to put your hands on somebody to put foot to ass. So let me initiate that first. That's one. Two, it's easier for a person to see someone being taken advantage of if you're the person outside looking in. Because you would call BS on some things that they can't see, because as a parent, they just like, oh, I don't see that because I see this as just my child. I'm like, but hold on, if this is somebody in the street doing this to you, you would call BS on it. So let's take that into effect. Also, they got to know what you're doing. I'm not in here beating and banging, punching people in the face repeatedly if they're not doing what I ask them to do. Like, I'm like, bruh, you need to take care of your children, you need to take care of some things. You get a couple conversations back and forth, and then, like I said, generally I don't have to do too much because old fucking King Kong in there going pop niggas, and I'm like, all right, well.
Okay.
But if it has to come down to it, at the end of the day, look, the man in the house is the man in the house. If you think that power, you think that power.
Touch on situation.
It's only touchy.
No,
I'm touchy if you make it touchy, though.
No, I'm talking about the touch on what you're talking about. I've dated. I was in a 2-year relationship with someone that had a child. I knew my place as the significant other that came into the situation. She was cordial with her son father, and they had a relationship. He had a problem with me because for whatever reason he thought his son was repeating things that he heard on a TV show, and he referenced it to me talking to his mom. He had a problem with me. Talking about Robin, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So I understood my place. I didn't overstep my boundaries. I explained to him no, and she further explained to him that no, these are not said. This is not happening whatsoever, and we left it alone. when a person that's coming into a situation knows their boundaries and know how far they can take it, the issues won't. There shouldn't be any issues. Your situation is. I'm gonna ask this question: how interactive were you with that sperm donor before you guys got married?
That's what I was going to ask, but I just wanted y'all to fill
I'm
that
gonna
shit
say
out.
this. I'll say this. Speaking terms. I wouldn't say cordial. I wouldn't say cordial. Just a head nod.
Now, how often did you guys have negative interactions?
I wouldn't.
How many times did
a few
Joe,
times,
how many
a few
times
times.
did your wife say, "I got this. Don't worry about it. I got it," and said shit.
More often than not.
That's basically what I'm
he's saying.
The person that's controlling the situation stepped up and said, "No, you stay your ass here. I'm gonna take care of this right here. Don't worry about it." And you have been married for how long?
Going on 17.
And how many negative interactions have you had in 17 years?
Of who?
The sperm donor.
Sperm donor.
Y'all know it was a couple. Y'all know a couple. So it ain't like it was nothing.
But it was because of what was happening with your stepkid though. It wasn't just because of like with you. So, but just like with you, how many
it's a couple.
Now I'll give a perfect example. I'll give a perfect example. Somebody had an episode, right? And it wasn't this is because it's not what you think. So I'm trying to say it.
You good.
Right.
Keep going.
Somebody had an episode and some things were being and people interpreted it one way. So school got involved.
Of course.
And we were reached out to. Said child explained what had happened. And said, no, this is what happened. But the school did what the school's supposed to do. They were like, well, we're just going to check and we're going to take you to the hospital, get looked at, and see if this actually back checks out. That being said, if you know your child, you should know that your child has said episodes. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If you know your child and interact with your child regularly, you should be able to pick up if your child is being truthful or or misleading you to protect somebody. Correct?
Yeah.
Not in every case, but go ahead.
Yep.
Most cases.
Most cases.
So that being said, people interact. They called everybody. They called us. They called other people, and we was like, all right, cool. Here's where stuff gets interesting.
Hold on before you go that far. The episode had to do with you?
No, I was there.
Okay,
but
no.
Had nothing to do with me.
Had nothing to do with you. So that meant when the phone calls were called, you didn't have to go.
I got called.
But you didn't have to go.
I had to go.
You didn't have to go because it had nothing to do with you.
I'm listed as a guardian. I have to go.
If he's the guardian, he has to go.
But if they're their mother and a father, you don't have to go.
No. So if I'm put as a guardian on a child's list of people they can what's the name? I'm not knocking it.
Already there. There's no reason for a guardian to show up because the two primary people are already there.
So let's say
you can't say
so.
That.
Let's say one person was already. Let's say one person has been absent. Let's say that person was just absent. Because I'm not trying to get into details, but let's say they're not there. Half of them is not there.
Because but nonetheless, the problem I have with this situation, Joe, is because you're half-ass telling the story. So I'm only gonna critique what I can from the story because you can't.
That's what I'm answering. That's what I'm answering. They half wasn't there. I was called. Mother was called. All of us was called. Two people showed. I clearly showed up. Mother showed up.
But you didn't have to.
No, I get what Joe's saying because
I was called. I had no choice.
I was in a similar situation,
bro. Yeah,
I get what Joe's saying though. I get
if
I
they
get what you're
say
saying,
something
Joe.
happened in the household and they saying this happened in the household and you're a part of that household, you have to show up. There's other there's police involved, there's hospitals involved, there's people involved. So if you're in a household and they say this is a possibility, you got to show. Nonetheless,
I don't
I
know.
show.
But go ahead.
I know. I was gonna say, nonetheless, I show. I show. I'm there. Mother's there. Child explains to him. Did the story several times. Story never changes because it is what it is. We we knew. The teacher knew. However, the school was like somebody was like, oh, and that's when it went lost. So as I'm sitting there going to do this whole ordeal with him, somebody gets a phone call. Person gets a phone call, walks out, and they have this phone call. I hear voices elevate. So now I'm like, let me go step outside and see what's going on. I step outside, I hear, as I'm hearing voices elevate in a conversation. I'm not going to repeat the conversation. That's not going to happen. So we just going to say, conversation led to me going outside. I go outside, what's going on? And as I hear them saying that, I say to them, very calmly, tell them to give me a call. They have my number. If they have something you want to discuss with me, just tell them give me a call. I didn't say it. I didn't rah it, didn't yell, didn't scream. Tell them give me a call. No call was made to me. Instead, there was a call made to two children. And in said call, if you're gonna if you're gonna talk stuff about a person to kids, and I'm just like, what are we really talking about? And you don't want to interact with me, we don't have to have interaction at that point. At this point, I'm cool with you staying over there. You stay over there. You just can't say nothing to me about nothing. If you feel like you can do a better job of doing it, then you just hop in and do your job is doing that. Is that does that kind of answer my does that make sense to y'all?
No.
I don't,
No,
I don't know what to tell you.
no. I get what Joe's saying because I was not that heavy in the similar situation, but I had a similar situation with my ex when I was put down as a like you a guardian, even though she had both herself and the baby's father there, but he would never get off of work to go see what's going on with his kids. So if they couldn't reach her, I would have to been the one to go get the kids or have them call me.
But guess what? The difference in that situation was the mother was reached. The mother was there. So in that situation, if the mother wasn't there and being that you're the next in line guarding, yes, that's when you're supposed to say, okay, yeah, I have to do what I have to do. But to me, in this instance like this, it's like, okay, I'm guardian of all my sister kids. I am the second person besides, well, the third person besides her, the father of their kids. I am next in line. If something happened at that school, the parents are called first. And if both parents show up, there's no reason for me to be there because
Let me stop right there, though.
have
Let me
nothing
stop
to
right
do with
there.
me. No, wait. I know. I'm not talking about your situation. You said it happened in your household, so I understand
No.
why.
I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna say to you what you just said. What you say is that you just said both parents show up, right?
Yes.
So let's just say this. So the school is aware of the mother and the father, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what if the school never saw the father, but you was always they have access to all three numbers, but the only person that showed up primarily was your sister and you.
Which is
Only person
fine.
that showed up is just you.
Which is
So
fine.
when the stuff comes down, they say I need
Listen,
to talk to you
listen.
because even though they got access to other people, they know you are the one that's up there, right?
Listen, that I'm going through that situation right now currently with the second one. There's no father involved at all. Not in the picture. If something goes down, my sister goes and handle it.
But if you were going there,
If she's not accessible, my phone is called.
okay.
I'm next in line.
Okay.
Know how it works in Baltimore. I don't know. Maybe y'all laws are different, but as long as there are a parent there, and I'm not a parent, even though I'm listed as a guardian,
You're
only
guardian.
the primary parent is there, the situation continues from that point. If she's not available, then I'm next in line. The phone call comes to me next. That's
So
how.
you
That's
never
what
had
I
a
normally
situation
do.
when you never had a situation when they was like, hey, Mr. Notes, we need you to go do XYZ
No,
because
because
we
they
tried to do
contacted
this,
their mother, and their mother went to handle it. That's why.
but you never just went
Did I
there
show
because
up?
you
Did I
show up.
show up on my own? Yes, I did, just like you did. You showed
Yeah,
up,
so I'm like, I mean,
but
you
no,
do
no,
it.
no. But that's not
Yeah,
every situation. There's many situations where there was no need for me to show up because the parent was there and they were to handle it. There were situations where I did show up. It was like, okay, I need to go find out what's going on. So
okay.
I said I understand that, but that's what I mean by being that you are the person coming into the situation. There's certain situations where you didn't need to say anything, and you had to go, you have to involve yourself, and that's what starts drama because you're being that you're coming in, and this is that person's child. It's like you're trying to step over them and make them obsolete. So that's when problems exist.
Besides, let me ask you this question then. When should you, when should it be that you start saying to yourself, I could acknowledge this person has had a record or has had, but have shown themselves not to be able to do these things regularly, and they haven't done these things regularly. So when things occur, you are automatically put in that position because that's what you
Not
signed up for.
necessarily. Not necessarily.
Now you're just
Not
being a contrarian. Now you're just being a contrarian.
okay. I'm being
What do you
contrary.
mean?
I'll,
What do you
I'll,
mean?
I'll take that. That's fine.
Because I see, because no, you show up for everything. You're the guy that if stuff hits the fan, you the one people like. I know
I
that
don't
dude
Either.
is
show up
gonna
for. I
show.
don't
And all I'm
show
saying
up
to
for
you is,
everything. That's the point. It's everything is predicated on what the situation is. If something happened, I get a phone call. What's going on? This, and that happened. All right, you got that. Take care of that. Get a phone call. Oh, this happened. I'm on my way.
that's what I'm saying. That was that
But
protocol.
that's what I'm
You the
trying to
showed up.
explain. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. I pick and choose the situations where I need to include myself in because I don't necessarily need to be included into it because me coming could cause more drama. I don't necessarily need to be there. That's what I'm saying.
I'll be right back.
See,
I'm gonna go fix
okay,
a flat tire.
now listen. All right, you went right. You showed up, right?
Mhm.
You heard voices getting loud.
Mhm.
You took it upon yourself to
I
go
was there
find out.
already.
You took
I
it.
was.
You took it upon yourself to leave what you were called for to go see about something completely different that had nothing to do with you.
Had something to do with it.
But not technically, no,
If
because
if if my person if my significant other is noticeably getting frustrated and noticeably getting annoyed and is now becoming emotional because something, you wouldn't go to comfort or say, hey, let me see what's going
you
on to
included yourself until the and took it to another level. There's a difference from going in and checking. How you doing? What's going
how
on?
to another
All
level.
right, wait. Going to how's going on? You got it under control?